The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Forum, assemble. You watch a Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our riddle inside of an enigma trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey.
Hey, indeed. Next, he is the backbone, the pillar, the strength, the Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
Hi.
Hello, Moses. What's your hat say? I can't read that. What's that say?
Cattle decapitation.
Is that what that says?
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I believe it. I just,
my mom
I'm not well versed. Huh?
My mom bought it for me last week.
That's nice of her.
She's like, I saw the logo. I'm sure I seen that before. And it's cool. It has in the rim. It has like art.
Oh, that's very cool. Wait, is that just a skull?
It's a skeleton, like with a scythe, like kind of the the traditional.
Awesome.
It's for their album Death Atlas.
Death Atlas. So cool.
Why isn't it focus?
I need to get more into metal.
I keep telling you, but
You do. You have, and listen. I listen to my playlist.
Yeah.
But anyway.
You didn't add that one song to it.
Say what now?
You didn't listen to that one song I told you.
Oh, that might be true. I don't remember.
Prometheus.
You forgot what it's called?
Yeah, I forgot. Promethean something. I forgot it already.
Hopefully we remember. By the way, I'm Lawrence Young. They call me Mary Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great show for you today because we are going to be talking to you all about the new Amazon Prime series Fallout, and we're going to be talking to you all about a comic book from Dark Horse Comics called Tear Us Apart. So we got both of those coming to you, along with whatever else it is that you all want to talk about, and we'll tell you how to do that in just a moment. But before we do, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, this show would not exist. So thank you, Scott Rubin. Hope all is well with you, good sir. And with that said, let's have our intern jump in and tell the people what to do.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Indeed, you know you want to join the party. As the intern said, go ahead and you can go to fantasticforum.live, where you can call in. And right now, you'd be the fourth member of Fantastic Forum, the coveted fourth spot. So feel free before Oz gets here if you like. Or you can always just jump into chat, where we'll take your comments directly out of chat and bring them into the show, such as, can we insert a witty chat comment here, please, Jay?
Kyogre 1997 says Moses Magnum is such a badass porn star name.
Yes, look, is that Key or Kyogre? I don't look. Let us know in chat, Kyogre or Kyogre. I like the name, and you are correct. Moses Magnum is a badass porn star name. Taking Tugboat
says hello, FF.
What up, Taking Tugboat? Good to see you. So yeah, but just like that, you can jump into the chat room. We'll take your comments throughout the show. You can comment that way on what we're talking about, or if we have a subject that you want to broach, feel free. So, gents, I have to apologize to you both. I would have apologized to Oz too, but he's not here. For not having watched last week not having watched X-Men 97. I've committed the same crime this week, unfortunately, because I haven't seen today's episode. I can't imagine.
It's Life Death Part 2. So we get conclusion to the Storm Forge story.
Yeah.
Also, major spoiler that I won't say.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a good friend.
Thank you. I was about to say, I'm like, you look, I was like, I was. No, but if he spoils it for you, he has to spoil it for me, and so
And you still want to do shows in the same room? Like, at least you can just I can just do this to you, and then you don't have to worry about it, man.
Or you can still hear.
I can hear. All you've done is taken away my ability to protest. Like, Joe, no. Oh no. That's all you've done. I can still hear you. Oh my God. But yeah, I apologize, fellas, because I watched that joint and I was like, whoa. What an amazing episode.
Yeah, it's pretty much everything I wanted from X-Men 97.
What? In like one episode? Like, they brought in Nation of Genosha and took it out before the show was done. What? What? I was like, oh my God. Like, and don't get me wrong, like, it's not like it had been there for a little while, obviously, but we didn't see it. And then the whole,
they do this thing where it's like, because there's like different stages of Genosha too, where like you have that one, like the 90s run when they got started, then you have the other section, the other time, like later in the 2000s, like when it's like Rogue and Cable and Baby Hope, like living in Genosha. And then I'm like, man, I wonder if they're just gonna do all of that here in this one. And then when I see Cable, I'm like looking to see if he's got a baby on him, but he doesn't.
For real, man. They packed a lot into that one episode, man.
I heard Vulcan was in this last one though.
Oh, that's crazy. Listen,
I actually saw like a preview of it, but I didn't see Vulcan.
Yeah.
Tipping Tugboat says, going back to the whole weekly versus binge watching debate, I'm so glad X-Men is weekly. Gives the episodes time to breathe.
Listen, I agree with Taken, because I could not, like, I would have to take a break personally after this last episode. No, listen, no one's asking you, Moses. I'm talking about me, Moses. Can I talk about me for 2 seconds? Me?
Yeah, just like you watched season 1 of Breaking Bad weekly.
No, I didn't do that.
Of course, nobody did. They loved the show because they got to binge it. That's why it made the show great. The show would come on at like 11:30 on like Mondays or some shit. Nobody was watching the first season. Well, I was, but a lot of people weren't.
Yeah, I
believe that. Like, people only liked those shows because they were able to binge them all at once.
See, look, let me put it like this. I got on Breaking Bad late, no question. But I don't think anybody really knew what Breaking Bad was going to be until like 2 seasons in.
Right, but nobody sees that unless they binged it, because nobody was watching it the first season.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the premise doesn't necessarily lend itself to like, oh yeah, that sounds like that's going to be really interesting. Like high school teacher becomes a meth dealer. Like what?
It was to me.
Oh, hey, look, you're special. We all know this about Moses Magnum. Look, friggin' Kyogre told you already. You know, badass porn star.
He says this year's our new year.
He says, oh yeah. He says, good grind, guys. Love the structure of the show. Keep the grind going. This is your year, and if not this year, then next year. Thank you. Listen, it's the only reason why we keep doing this show. Right? If not this year, then next year. Right? It's like we keep saying that to ourselves. Luckily, I'm friggin' positively deluded enough to somehow convince these guys to keep doing this with me year after year. But actually, look, I shouldn't say it like that though, because look, everybody knows. Look, Moses Magnum doesn't like to pretend that he's optimistic, but you know,
I just take it as
believes in what we do here.
We do what we do, and then we get these cool opportunities to do different things, like from WonderCon or different things, or people and do things. Sometimes the shit doesn't even hit the video because it was so cool we forgot to hit record.
Amen.
And, so every year, and then something cool like that. And I mean, imagine if we dedicated 24/7 to this, it'd be a whole different beast.
Dude,
this is
that's the dream, man.
You know,
if this could be my job, I would love it.
I already pitched that to us, but everyone was like, no.
Yeah.
You pitched what, Jay?
Quitting our jobs and focusing on the show 24/7.
Well, listen, Jay, some of us have to eat.
You don't, little Larry, little skinny Larry.
Look, Mo has
if we had done that,
family.
You go hungry for a week to gorge yourself for a month. Like, sometimes you gotta suffer. Like, you gotta put yourself through the paces in order to get the work done.
And I remember
y'all were like,
we
don't want to do that.
In that plan, we're supposed to buy a house too and live in it together, and make the basement the studio, like a band.
Right, buy the house, live together, then everyone quits their job, and then let the cards fall where they may.
Yeah. Then we just sell the house.
Listen, I'm not mad at this.
I actually just wanted to do it out of Larry's house. Like,
look, like where I live.
Yeah, like it'll be tight, but we're all gonna be working. We're all gonna be doing our thing, research, putting together videos, comics. Like,
I tell you what, Jay, if you can convince Nia, I'm down.
She's got a garage.
No, it's not. It's too late for that.
Oh, God. Oh, that's when I was like by myself, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, in the tiny place.
Yeah.
There's not even enough rooms for the four of us.
Well, we used to go to the bathroom and trip over the stove to get to the bathroom.
It was right. It was like 3 rooms, and they're 4.
Yeah, you gotta suffer a little bit, and then you grow.
Well, listen, I guess Oz and Jay gonna be roommates. Oz and Jay have to double up on the kitchen table.
Vaughn was living there with you too that time.
Oh, good Lord. Listen, Vaughn was like living with 2 people. Too funny, man. Shout out to Vaughn B, man. I gotta hit that guy up.
I hit him up a couple weeks back for his birthday. So.
When was his birthday?
On the 2nd
of March?
April.
We in April? Damn,
yeah.
We are. Damn.
It is April.
Yeah.
Jesus, I'm living in the past.
We're only like 3
I'm like, man.
The fantastic
2023 is flying by. No. No, I'm joking. I know it's 2024. Right? It is 2024. Right?
No, we're still in 2020, man.
Oh, there it is. If only it was true.
Pre-election.
Taken says, I really like that podcast we did from the house. Jay was playing video games 2 minutes before the podcast, and Larry was giving Moses a big case of the new Monster flavor.
There it is. Look, memories. All right. It's like another life. That's pre-pandemic. That was before the apocalypse. Huh?
That was a long time ago because that was almost like that was before I even cut hair. Like,
yeah,
that was like 10 years ago.
Damn, that wasn't 10 years ago, was it?
I think so.
Well, that must have been Jay. If Jay's playing video games, he must have been at your house.
No, it was at your house.
No, it was your house. I used to play games there.
Yeah.
Damn. What were you
remember? That was before we were doing it at the table.
Yeah. We were doing it
in the living room.
Yeah.
Got you. Man, look, it's so crazy because all that was like all pre-video.
Yeah.
So it's just like the idea, like we were just doing like strict audio podcasts. Like,
yeah, I miss that.
That feels like such a long time ago now. I know, right? Right. There it is. Look, when we all used to do it together with no pants on. No,
yeah.
No, I'm joking. Somebody somewhere is listening to the podcast, like, wait, what? or somebody else is listening, like, I knew it. I knew it. I know it. But yeah, man, look, this X-Men 97, it's been phenomenal, man. And I haven't seen today's episode because I was trying to make sure I saw and read stuff for today. But
it's really good.
Like, you liked it, huh?
Yeah, like really good. Like even if it like even the shit I don't care about, like you know me, I'm relative like there are certain parts of X-Men where I'm like, that doesn't
right.
Like I'm not really into that section. I know Lawrence loves that, but I'm like, whatever.
Right.
And it was that, but it was still good. Like just the ending.
Wow.
Man, it was man, you're gonna love it. Like
oh yeah. I love it. I can't wait to go watch it after today's show because that's what I'm gonna go do. Goddamn, I am.
You know what? The only thing it's missing is like an X Dudes episode. Like
that was another thing about that episode 5 where it was so interesting to see.
It felt like the legacy book.
Yeah, well, it was just like it. I felt like well, what I'll say is this: is X-Men 97 has done a decent job of doing cameos of mutants we haven't seen in animated form before. But a lot of those mutants are like, you know, stalwart, like long time X-Men people that just didn't get into the animated series or weren't in like Pride of the X-Men, right? But in this episode 5, it was like they were literally like a whole bunch of mutants that were in this episode specifically that I was like, when the original X-Men animated series was out, I'm like, most of those mutants didn't exist, you know, which kind of blew my mind because I was like, Pixie, there was no Pixie when
like Herman Glob too, like
right, Glob Herman, true. I even feel like Exodus might be like on the cusp. Like I'm not sure if Exodus first appearance was like it might like be like just a month or two difference. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, damn, like that's so crazy. But it was just so cool to see like these mutants in a utopia-esque kind of setting, animated, having fun. Like shoot, Exodus is smiling, which Exodus doesn't do that a lot, and it made sense though for
like he does that like, making Krakoa twice.
right. So you know, so I was just like, dude, it's so cool, man. I really enjoyed it. Oz, our intrepid senior reporter, is in the building. What up, Oz? Good to see you, man.
Talking about, was there an episode today? Because I haven't seen today's episode.
There was an episode today, but we were actually talking about last week's episode.
Oh, I remember it.
Yes, and I was apologizing to the rest of the crew and yourself included for not having watched it before the show because I know y'all were trying to like say stuff about it. You never need
to apologize to me. I never expect much.
Oh, see, you can't even greet just an apology. He just has to be like Oz all over it. Ugh. I tell you, this is what Amber must feel like.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, I'm joking.
Between that and the sneeze, it's like.
Shouts out to Amber. She's awesome, and I'm sure she loves you more. So it's all good. How are you doing, man? There it is. Yeah.
Taking Time says, "Oh, Oz's shirt reminds me. Did y'all talk about the new Superman logo yet?"
It was like a news story when it was officially shown at that
CinemaCon.
Yeah, whatever. Didn't we see that like 2 months ago when he actually like posted a picture of the actual S on the costume? Like, did somebody think it was gonna be different than what it looks like on the costume?
I don't. Is this the one? Like, it's a little blocky. Is that what it is?
It's the Kingdom Come S, but red.
Oh, the Kingdom Come. Yeah, that's
Which
that's a
is
little
the exact
blocky.
same logo we saw in the picture that he tweeted.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay, because I saw like a meme where like they show like each one, and then they showed somebody new. I'm like, is that another CW Superman? Like, which one is? Because I'm like, I didn't conceive in my brain that would be the cinematic one.
Right, but I mean, you saw it when you showed it in the costume, like covered with snow and all that.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like, I don't know why it was such a news story. Why people were like going crazy over it.
It's not like it's a new design either. It's like the Kingdom Come.
Yeah. Which of course he's gonna mess up.
Yeah. Well,
he's not gonna actually do Kingdom Come though, right?
He can't, not with that little kid he's got playing Superman.
He might just gray his temples. He put a baby powder on the side.
He's gonna look like a little kid playing like the Halloween costume of J. Jonah Jameson, like that.
Like that. I've said it before. The guy looks like the Superboy version of Cavill.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go Kingdom
Even
Come,
Welling,
like Cavill.
Because I saw him I saw it side by side with him and Welling, and even like when Welling comes back every now and then for like a CW thing, and it's like, yeah, dude, that guy's a little boy.
But
even what's his face, Ralph, he's already played Kingdom Come Superman.
Right.
And he didn't look the part either.
And look, I said this, I yelled at Emily the other day because we were watching something and I told her, I'm like, why the fuck isn't he playing like an older, Kingdom Come type Superman? It's a fucking the dude from Mad Men. John Hamm, yeah. John Hamm? It's like that fool could like he was literally like just casually like doing an interview and he was wearing glasses. I'm like, the motherfucker looks like Clark Kent already. Like, the fuck?
He's not even trying.
She's like, well, what are you letting me for? Like, sorry, dude.
She's like, please don't abuse me again.
Control over these movies.
That's wild, man. But yeah, I don't know, man. I kind of feel like, dude, like, don't get me wrong. He's a young Superman, no question. But he's not like, he doesn't look like Superboy to me. He looks like he could be a man, right? Man,
not to me. Like, okay. Like I haven't seen him in the costume. I haven't seen him in motion. I just seen the guy they picked, and it's like this dude needs to gain probably another 150 pounds or something.
Hilarious.
Like
he looks working out. They've shown like recent images of him, and he's got a little bit more.
How tall is he? Because he just looks like he's got a skinny frame. Like he looks like he could play in an indie rock band.
Look at what's his name? Corn Sweat?
I don't know. That's his Indian name.
Sweat.
Cherokee or some shit.
Corin Wet. Corin's Wet.
Oh jeez.
Seriously. Why you CORENSWET? Isn't that like Corn Sweat?
Oh.
He's 6'4".
Okay. Okay. And then, we'll see how much he packs on his shoulders and
Real quick, you mentioned Brandon Routh, and can I tell you, like, I mean, I think we all knew that the dude is a good actor. But I didn't know this because I didn't watch this show previously, but I'm recently been watching episodes of The Rookie. Have you guys seen The Rookie?
Yes.
Okay. So Brandon Routh is in a few episodes of that show in one of the seasons, and dude plays a racist cop, and man, he's so good. Like, I hate him. I hated him. I like to the point where I was like, man, like I feel like I gotta like detox and watch him in something else in the off chance that I see this dude in the street because I'm gonna think of the character before I think of him as the person. He was that good, and I was just like, oh man, like he dude, he was so good, and it was like it's not like he was like, he's not in the show, like he's not a regular. He was like a guest star, and just with the little he did, he was so good, and I was like, it made me so angry. Oh my god, and
maybe he's raised in real life, and like he was just method acting.
Well, listen, here's the messed up part: is this dude was like this character. I'm sorry, like, because I'm not talking about Brandon Routh. I'm talking about the character. The character was like the king of the microaggression. So it's like, even like, let's put it like this: it was like one of those things where I could totally see a situation where if we met this person in real life, like the four of us could be standing there and this will say something, and I'm like, I don't know, and I say something to one of you, and one of you all could be like, oh, I think you're kind of acting a little bit like you all would be like, you might be overreacting a little bit. Like, no, this dude.
They're being sensitive again.
I know, right? Exactly. And I was like, oh, and they played it just like that, and it was like infuriating. I was like, oh my god! Like they did a real good job.
It's funny when they do the reveal too, because at first it's a little clunky. Like he's just this like really nice cop that everybody loves.
Yeah,
there's like a little bit of the tones, and then they go to like a black kid's house because his mom got robbed or something, and he's looking at the little black kid, and he's just like, "So what set you repping?" Like, what the hell?
Right. Oh, dude,
and then he turns that switch on, and like we see the real Brandon Routh. I mean, Officer.
Also, I got to tell you, and this is unfortunate. I apologize to the audience and my other co-hosts here, because this is definitely a very specific thing here. Jay, they do a scene literally on our street where we grew up.
Oh, nice.
It's crazy. Like, I was sitting here watching this show, and I was like, I had to pause. I was like, wait a minute. They literally not in front of our house, but across the street at that brick building.
Right.
And you can see both. Like, you can see where we grew up in the shot, obviously, because it's across the street. But I saw the building, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I paused just to make sure, and I'm like, that's our house. Like, you can see the park. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like, literally. And the thing is, our neighborhood, they used to film stuff in our neighborhood all the time. Like, the most well-known thing, I can't even say popular anymore, but the most well-known thing that old people might know. Because like, our audience is probably going to be like, what is this fool talking about? There was a show called Highway to Heaven back in the day, and they used to film Highway to Heaven regularly at a house that was like literally like a block away in our neighborhood.
All this is semi-relevant because it's a Nathan Fillion show, and we love Nathan Fillion.
Exactly. True enough. Even though Nathan Fillion isn't in that scene, unfortunately. Huh?
Even like, because he should be Hal Jordan in the DC Universe movies.
Right.
Fucking Guy Gardner.
He could do either one.
No,
he would be a better. I think he would be a better Guy Gardner.
He's too charismatic. He's not angry enough to be Guy Gardner.
He's so charismatic that he's like dating a little girl in Modern Family, and you still like the guy, and the dad still lets him date his daughter.
Like, Guy Gardner should be the.
I mean, she's like 19.
Oh, that's so
it's legal. It's legal, and the thing is, it's
But
the
episode he's like 40, right?
Yeah, he's like the weatherman. So like the dad loves the weatherman, and he's like, yeah, I just broke up with my makeup lady. He's like, oh well, my daughter is here, and he actually like was banging the makeup lady. So the dad set him up, thinking that he was like, He was trying to
her-
get his
his
daughter
makeup.
a job for the makeup,
Oh,
and then they end
damn.
up dating, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
That's too
Yeah, it's a
funny.
good episode.
That's too funny.
I love that shit.
Yeah, man. But yeah,
But
man, that joint, that
and he's douchey about it. Like he's a douchey character, but he's like friends with the dad. They have a whole breakup with the dad too because they were friends, and he's still good in it. He's so charismatic. Like he needs to be Hal Jordan.
yeah, interesting. Yeah. But anyway, y'all ready to do this? Y'all want to jump into some Fallout?
Like oddly enough, I don't think he could be Spectre, Hal Jordan. Like he's
Also,
no, more about gel coat.
When the fourth round would...
Don't you call it?
does it look good already?
Jumbo Scampi for limited.
So, yeah, I was gonna go to Oz to kind of tell the audience about Fallout, just because I was gonna say Oz is our resident Fallout fan. I think, like, but given your
he can't hear.
I can't even hear us. He can't even hear us. Look, and that's the best
He can't
part.
take it off either. Oh, there you go.
Holy crap!
Oh,
I can't hear a damn thing you guys are saying because I couldn't fit the headphones in there.
That's like I gotta use the
You are-
buds, yeah.
you are
Yeah,
too
and
funny.
it has a voice changer, but like I left the batteries in there for what, like 3-4 years now. So
I was just saying that I was gonna come to you anyway because I think of you as our resident like Fallout guru. But given your choice of headgear, I was like, well, I don't even have an option to go anyplace else because like you messed around and like stunned on us all with the friggin' power armor headgear. So, dude, talk to us about what the Amazon Prime series Fallout is all about.
it's it's about Fallout, a post-apocalyptic American wasteland, based obviously on the popular game that some people may have heard of. And yeah, it revolves around three main characters. The Vault Dweller, which is usually you as the player, and then Knight of the Brotherhood of Steel, which is the power armored military. What do you call it when they get all religious?
Like zealots. Yeah.
Zealot? Yeah, Zealot's a good
Yeah,
idea.
a little bit of both. Like Templars, like futuristic Templars, or the Marines from Warhammer 40K.
Yeah. Space Marines.
Yeah.
But even like the started like as a militia that had became an ideology too, So Proud Boys too,
Yeah, and one of our favorite actors, Walton Goggins.
Yeah, sign up to our Patreon so you could hear our podcast, Gaga for Goggins,
as the Ghoul. And yeah, I mean, it's what is it, like 8 or 9 episodes?
8 episodes.
8 episodes, an hour each.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
So I mean, this takes a while, and it's it happens a lot like a lot of games start. You're the Vault Dweller in the vault, the Fallout shelters, for those that don't know, and something happens that causes the main character to leave the vault and actually go into the wasteland, and it's like a main quest, their main mission. But just like in the games, like each episode, the main character gets sidetracked on a side mission.
Mm-hmm.
And even Goggins' character at one point says, "Yeah, that's the law around. That's the law of the wasteland. You'll be distracted by random shit or something like that."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and end up dead.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Well, there you go. There it is. And look, I mean that's. Oh wait, we got Derek Gates saying what? Go ahead, Jay.
Derek Gates says Fallout is about a white girl who has a nice butt and plot armor.
Oh, geez, come on, man. Why are we going to reduce?
Well, then he gets mad at us. He gets mad at us because we want an old ass Matt Webb. Yeah.
Why are you going to reduce it to that? Now, but I was going to say, Oz, like that. That's high praise coming from you because one, Oz doesn't like give positive comments out frequently. But then on top of that, you're an actual Fallout fan. Like you're a guy. Like how many Fallout games have you actually played, Oz? Well, actually, you know what? That question's irrelevant because you played Fallout 76.
Yes.
Now, that by itself shows your dedication, which I hear is actually a lot better these days. But you played it like at launch, and we're playing it like regularly, which kind of like for anybody that knows anything about the gaming side of things, it's like, okay, if you were like on Fallout 76 when it came out, that shows your dedication to the franchise.
Yeah, well, when 76 came out and you're supposed to be one of the first vault dwellers out there, it's only like 30 or 40 years after the bombs dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And so you go out into this city and it's just desolate. There's like no people. The closest thing to a person are the zombies.
So the 76 is reference to what the vault you came out of?
It's the vault number, and they celebrated the tricentennial or something like that. It's primarily the vault number because they didn't come out in the year 76.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
yeah.
And it was literally a desolate wasteland. Like there's nothing. The only other people, like actual people, would be other players. I think each game world was limited to like 8 or something like that.
I didn't.
Yeah, it was a really low. Like you weren't gonna have like 30 vault dwellers running around.
Is it still only 8 now?
Or
have you played it at all lately?
Well, I don't play with other people, so I don't know. Like, but you can bring up the map and see everybody's camps, and I think it might have gone up a little bit, but it 8.
So there's an option to not play with other people.
Yeah, you can actually have your own game world and just have your friends join that.
Okay,
I think you have to be like a Plus subscriber or something like that.
PlayStation Plus?
No, like their own service.
Okay, but that's the Plus. Okay,
not even business.
I didn't even know that.
I think it's called like Fallout. I want to say Prime, but that doesn't sound right. It's like its own. It's like World of Warcraft had its own thing.
Yeah.
Jay,
I can't remember what it's called either.
You've been playing.
Oz and Jay are the MMO guys.
I mean,
I don't play it, but I follow. Like I like Fallout, not as much as Oz, but I have been like, whenever something happens with Fallout 76, like I still hear about it.
Okay.
And I play it. I just don't subscribe, and I don't have other people that want to just play with me. So I don't even pay attention to that side.
You should get with Jay. Jay will play with you, maybe.
Oh, I don't have it on Steam.
I don't have it on Steam either. I'm on the Xbox.
Yeah, but I'm not on Xbox anymore. I'm on Steam now.
I think we can crossplay.
Yeah, I think with those you can crossplay. And
okay.
And I've been thinking of getting into it myself.
Oh, I think I just bought it.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I'm not doing it.
I actually, Steam had a sale, and it was like all of Fallout for like $55.
Wow!
So like 1, 2 Brotherhood Tactics, 3 New Vegas, 4, and all the DLC. Oh, and 76.
You put a link, man, because what the fuck? That's a Mo deal. Like, I remember I like Brotherhood Tactics. I remember playing that, and then I remember playing just a random off like it's Fallout, but it's like when they had the license was in flux, and it was just a Brotherhood of Steel game 2. So it's like Brotherhood of Steel, maybe Tactics 2 that I played on PlayStation 2, and I love that shit.
I'm sitting here like
I think the one most talking about too is considered like one of the worst.
It is the worst. I remember when I had just met Larry. He goes, "What made you get this?" And I'm like, "Well, it's still the Brotherhood of Steel." Yeah, I want to try it. It came out that day, and it's like I still want to play it. Like I gotta find out. He's like, everybody's been saying this is bad. We're like, yeah, but I gotta find out if it's bad. Yeah.
Mo is that guy. Mo's like, other people's opinions don't mean a thing. He's like, I need to know. Like, I need. I might like it.
If I can forget about my problems for 45 minutes, it's good. That's a 5-star rating on the game.
That's a win, right? I don't even remember that there was like a Fallout Tactics game. I'm like, that actually might be like. Don't get me wrong. Like, Fallout is a great RPG. It just happens to be one of those RPGs that I personally didn't get into as much as like some other role-playing games and other like Bethesda games, I played the one I played the most was actually 3. I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. 3 was the VATS, right? The first time you had the VATS system.
Yeah.
That was the one I played the most of, which was a great game, and I enjoyed what I did play thoroughly. It was just one of those things where it was just like, man, like you only get so much time to play games, and it just turned out it was one of those things where, like, for the most part, at that time, I felt like I was more into JRPGs and Western RPGs, and so it kind of fell to the wayside.
Plus, also, it's one of those like Western RPGs that it's kind of FPS-y too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like I definitely am more into the whole turn-based deal, and that's what actually brought me to the game. I think was like 3 because of the VAT system.
Mm-hmm.
It's not turn-based, obviously, but it's closer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, let me give that a shot. You know what I mean?
For me, like I do it all in third person. I don't like the FPS part of it. Like. For some reason, I feel better. Like my aim is better, and the show kind of did a little weird thing with it too, where it's like it switches to like first person, and they kind of like third person because like they're missing the first person part, but they hit in a couple of them, just a little nod to it. Like it's just like some people like to play it that way as a first FPS. Some people like to play it as a third person open world.
Speak to that a little bit more, Mo, like in regards to the contrast between a person that is a fan of the games and the show. Like how or is it more so like the question I want to ask or what I want to get everybody's opinion on, honestly, but we'll start with you, Mo, is how much of the game do you need to know to enjoy the show, do you feel, and how much of the show do you miss by not knowing the game? Maybe that's the way.
I think the bigger part is the lore, and there's like Easter eggs if you want to. I don't feel like they try to do them as Easter eggs here. Like it's just part of like if you play the games, that's just how it is. So it's like, but if you don't know the games, you can still enjoy the story. So I think they focus on lore a little more, whereas the game you have to discover things, by reading the terminals and hacking into terminals and stuff. And then they have that here. It's just a side character. It's not the main character figuring it out. So with like. This is almost like a weird thing where it's like they kind of made it almost like a World of Warcraft for Fallout in the TV show, where you have your different class of people working for the same goal and kind of working together, although reluctantly through violence and kidnapping. but they do have like it's different. You got your sharpshooter, your rogue, and then you have your like main vault dweller. You have your like tank, and I think that's what we're gonna see more in the second season, where it's like they're doing it more like a more like MMO, whereas here, Whereas in the first thing, like you had like the brother Norm, like he's the one discovering everything in the ports, and it's like even her like getting her organs trying to be taken out by the like the medical bot or whatever, like that was tight because that's some shit that could happen in the game,
right?
And it's like voice, like so. I feel like when you're a fan of the games, like you discover a lot of the lore as you play, and in the show they hand feed it to you through flashbacks. Gotcha. And we had this conversation about flashbacks before, and even here it's like, yeah, I don't need these flashbacks in the sense it's like I do want to feel the lore, but in a game, the lore comes to you as you play, how you play, especially with a series like Fallout. So here they have to give it to you, and they give it to you through like basically the ghoul. Every flashback comes through him, so it's like that worked for me, and because it's more Walton Goggins. So,
right. Look, we know how much you love Walton Goggins.
He's playing two characters. Like
two characters, yeah.
Flashback Goggins is totally different from the current day one.
Yeah, I agree. And I had that scene where he goes, "Honey, that's a drop. That's just a drop in a bucket full of drugs." Like,
right. Right.
That shit happened to me at the dentist yesterday. I had to get like 8 different Novocaine shots in my jaw just to get 2 fillings. Yeah. So like, you gotta go. I still feel that shit.
The flashbacks works because they could be an episode on their own, giving you like letting you it just because Goggins is such a different character, and again, it's him like figuring stuff out, investigating something, and it's its own story.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And they don't like its own television show.
He felt like, to me, he felt almost like the character you play in Fallout 3, where it's like you live your normal life and then you run into the vault and then you come out, like 100 years later or whatever, because you're in the cryostasis.
That's 4.
That's 4.
That's 4? Okay, yeah. So yeah, so it like that's the type of character he felt to me, but they didn't go that far. Like they showed at the beginning when the bombs fell, but they didn't show what really happened to him and his family. I guess that's enough open-ended. Like if you're only doing 8 episodes, leave that open-ended so that you can keep coming back to it later.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's interesting too, because I'm sure like you all know how like a lot of actors have like contracts where they're like, especially like if you're gonna play a version of a character where you may not necessarily be recognizable, you might have in your contract, well, I want to mess around and be recognizable this percentage of time in my role. So I don't mind being unrecognizable, but you need to make sure that they can recognize who I am this far or this much in the show. And that might be what happened in this show, but
I doubt
handle it really well.
Yeah, if that's what it was, it's what it is. But I doubt like it. Walton, Larry, if you were one of our Patreons, you would understand. Like the way we had Walton Goggins there explaining his process. Like I don't mind being in a mask. By my performance, the way he moves, the way he walks, like the way he walked as a ghoul in the desert when he found the dog is the same way he did as like fucking in Justified after he blew up that black church. Like he's a villain and he's traversed, like he does it with his
like, wait a minute, that's that Goggins walk.
Yeah. And that's that dude, that walk with him, the silhouette with him is almost as iconic as like the Clint Eastwood like Good, Bad, and Ugly silhouette. Like when he's fired, like and with him it's just that, and he's got that silhouette in almost every movie. Maybe that's the thing he puts in his contract. We'll ask him next time we have him on.
Makes sense. Gaga for Goggins.
Live, but definitely he because he is definitely like he is like the quintessential character actor. He uses his body in the performance. I don't feel like he's the type of dude that needs to be seen. You know.
I hear you.
Just being a fan of his and seeing his work, it's like I don't feel like he needed that, but maybe the production felt they needed that to humanize the ghoul. But
maybe.
But from games, like you don't need the moment they're kind to you, you're like, okay, good. Like this guy's on drugs, he's fine. All right, I'm down. Let's go. He could be a comedian until he tries to eat my ass jerky. Yeah.
Jay, man, what are your thoughts in regards to, as a person that's played the games as well? Like, what are your thoughts in regards to, like, the audience, like what people that are the Fallout fans because they played the games versus the audience that might be watching this that has never picked up Fallout? What are your thoughts in regards to that contrast and what the show might be like for one versus the other?
Well, I've been hearing a lot of people dislike the show just because it's not close enough to the games.
Really?
And yeah,
it's literally canon.
Mm-hmm.
The show is canon.
Yeah.
Like I know that the show, like what I know personally is that the show, if I'm not mistaken, from a timeline perspective, the show is like
it's the latest
out.
Yeah,
in the timeline. Right. So and that's what I'm like. I mean, don't get me wrong. Here's the thing. I haven't played a lot of Fallout games, but I appreciate the lore because Bethesda is still Bethesda, right? Mm-hmm. And I like role-playing games. And so, like, I don't need to play a game to appreciate a world. You know what I mean? Because I'm a weirdo. So it's like, I know some stuff about Bethesda games, and I know that, like, yeah, like each game generally will focus on a particular set of vaults, and that vault, those vaults add to the lore of the world in certain ways or whatever. So I know that this joint is further out. So but I'm sorry, Jad, we didn't mean to interrupt you. Like they don't feel like it works in relation to the rest of the game world.
They just think like it's different. Like yeah, they're basically just don't like the differences and a lot of other stuff. Like I know personally I had a hard time getting into the show.
Okay. Why was that?
I don't know. Everything just kind of looks and feels off.
Now, when you say feels off, or actually, let's go with looks first. When you say looks off, you mean it doesn't look like the same kind of world that Bethesda created in the games?
No.
What looks off to you as far as like just visually?
A lot of the people, a lot of the wardrobe looks off to me. Kind of some of the sets.
Now, when you say the people in the wardrobe, are you talking about like the vault dwellers, or are you talking about like up
like
on
overall? Like
really?
Overall.
Just both. Okay.
Like, yeah, the armor looks on point. But like just general clothing, I don't know. It just feels off to me.
Like you don't feel like the vault dwellers' uniforms look like vault dwellers?
You know what was funny to me? The same shit people were saying about Avatar is the same shit I was thinking about the vault dwellers. It's like that shit looks like cosplay. Yeah.
Really interesting. Yeah. Now, you didn't feel that about Avatar, though, right?
No, I didn't feel that about Avatar. Like, yeah, I see what people were saying, but I didn't feel that way. But
you did feel that way. Like, you agree with that in regards to.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, in the games, everything is grimy. Like even the clean shit still has like kind of grime, and you got the filter. Like the game looks a certain way, and it's made to invoke like watching TV in the 60s, 50s. And this is, being like the full HD, like it just looks, it just makes it feel a little bit off.
Wow, that's interesting. That's so you like, if they had done this joint in like 480p, you'd be like, yeah?
Or just throw a filter on it. Like,
yeah. Now, I think what Joe's asking, because they did do that for certain scenes when they're doing like the more deserty scenes, they use more of a 70s lens, like for the longer shots, and more of a anamorphic lens. And so I did notice that they did use different lenses for different epochs or eras in the show, like for flashbacks and things like that. So
100%, me too. I was like, damn, that's a different lens. No, I'm joking. I did not notice that at all. I'm like, damn, y'all are like friggin' authors over here. I'm like,
what
you
were saying is like the overall look was done, because even like for me, when the lens they use in the first episode, when everything takes place in the vault, is just like, it's like a 10 millimeter, like almost like a fisheye lens. Like everything looks a little distorted off to the sides, but it's like, it's kind of creating a weird claustrophobic feel that you're just stuck in, And then as she starts getting into the idea of marriage and getting with it starts tightening in from like a 10 to like a 18, millimeter lens. And it's like, I noticed that they took that and they did use different techniques to make it look different ways in different scenes. It's just not, I guess what Jay is saying is like, it just didn't look, it looked too crisp for his taste. But
yeah.
Okay.
And so I know, and as far as the story, each Fallout is its own story. And so I'm going through this one, and to me it's fine. I mean, for the most part. It actually gets good to me, like the episode 4.
Yeah.
Is when I got invested. And and I feel like that was like, like, before I watched the show, I saw an interview or read an interview with the creator, and he's talking about his experience with Fallout and how it's pointless to try and make something for fans. And so I kind of was like, I kind of came into it like not expecting like something like super Fallout-y, but just like a good post-apocalyptic story. And like as I'm watching, it does like, it is Fallout. Like I definitely know that it's Fallout, but at the same time, it's like, it's weird because the games for me are about exploration and making choices. Right. Exactly what you don't get when you're watching a TV show. And so, like, just being a passenger, I'm like, just that alone is like a new thing in Fallout for me.
Okay.
And
the show, Jay, while we can't make the choices for them, I feel they do pause, like whenever these moments come up, to decide to see if like the character is gonna do it. Like the character just doesn't do anything blind. It does feel like, okay, if somebody had a remote control, they're weighing the options here, and the timer is coming down, like it never, like when it's particularly when Lucy tries to get Maximus like out of the suit, like that she didn't just get him out of the suit fast. Like she's like, there was a pause, like for the controller, the button. Yeah,
right. For those that haven't seen the show, Lucy is our vault dweller, and Maximus is our Brotherhood of Steel person. Just FYI. So yeah. But I agree with you, Mo. Like there was a moment where they took like, and it's interesting because I didn't think of it like
you feel like it could go another way if that
100%. Like you are correct in what you're saying. I didn't think of that when I was watching the show, but when you said it, it's like, oh no, that makes perfect sense. Where it's like it's almost like giving the player the opportunity to make the choice.
Yeah.
So I feel what you're saying there. Oz, I'm really excited to hear your take on this, especially again, like you played a lot of these games, so it's like, how did you feel about it as a person that's played the games, and can you take yourself out of the Fallout fan or the Fallout game player aspect of things and like look at it from the perspective of like someone that hasn't played the games? Like, what do you think of the show with the lens of the Fallout fan, and what do you think of the show outside of that?
As far as from a Fallout fan, like I thought it was great. Like I could almost see Lucy leveling up from the how she starts out to how she gets towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like actual fans of the games have been trying to figure out how much XP she's gained throughout the show.
That's some like for real RPG nerd stuff right there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm mad at it. I'm just acknowledging it for what it is.
When they were trying to harvest her organs and she beats that group and she beats the robot and she comes out like different, like with extra like harnesses.
Yeah.
And it was like, where'd she get that harness? She harvested, she took it from one of those dudes. Like that's it.
With a beat?
Your wardrobe changes depending
on where the thunder pad come from.
Yeah. And that adds, what's it? 10 defense, stim. What's the old saying back in the day from all games? 10 stim, 15D.
Right.
Your stats.
Go ahead, Oz.
And obviously the characters are all great, especially both of Goggins' characters. A little bit of a problem with Maximus.
Why?
I don't know if they told the actor he's supposed to be socially awkward, but I think he overdoes it a lot. I mean, he has like there's moments where like when they're questioning him on who hurt his buddy,
right?
And he suddenly like gets stone faced and starts to like you almost see his balls drop in that moment. And then a couple episodes later, he's being that, awkward, weird, like I don't know how to talk to people guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it just bugged me a little bit. But he had a lot more good moments than bad. Like I don't mind that awkwardness, like when he's learning how to use the power armor.
Right.
And he kills something, he's like, hey! And he's like dancing because he killed something in power armor.
When you talk about characters, like especially trying to see how much XP and stuff they get, like he like goes and then takes steps back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess that's a better way to say it. Yeah.
Like, especially using like the VAT system, like his charisma goes down depending, as his strength goes up, and something changes. Whereas with Lucy, it's a little more linear.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because what I'll say is this: like I said, Derek H says Maximus is scared of the booty.
He's actually more scared of his own dick.
Yeah,
and that's true. However, both of those statements work. Both of those statements are true.
It's a weird comment for him to make when we see the Brotherhood of Steel. There's literally a dude jerking off on one of the beds.
Yeah, but that
that happens in the show.
Yeah. I mean, he's got his dick isn't out. There's like a blanket, and you see.
Yeah, you see it moving. But again, that's the shame. If he was fine, like he would have been in the shower doing.
Shame is one thing, but he like the way he talks about it. It's like he has no idea.
Well, they kind of told him like he doesn't know how the world works. Like
he doesn't.
That's what I mean. At his age, like he's talking like a toddler.
Well,
right.
But he's in a cult.
Yeah.
Name me one cult that didn't have a sexual component.
No.
Like, he should know.
In the non-sexual cult, like there are cults that are like that.
This was the non-sexual one. Okay.
The cult we're about to talk about next doesn't have a sexual component.
For real. Look, preach, Jay. Preach. No, right. But you're right. Like, but anyway, what I'm saying is this: it's interesting. Like what I was gonna say originally is it's interesting that you brought this up because apparently, and I didn't even know this going in, but it feels to me like I'm probably like the least experienced Fallout game player among the Fantastic Four because I knew Oz was like a hardcore Fallout guy. And I believe
I have a whole series on this channel.
Right.
I have magic cards.
See, and right. So Mo was the dark horse. I 100 like I know Oz is out as a Fallout fan. And what I know about Jay, I was just like, oh, okay, like Jay doesn't talk about Fallout a lot, but I'm like, Jay probably plays his fair share of Fallout. And I just don't know because Jay's not telling me he's playing Fallout, and that makes perfect sense to me. I didn't know Mo has Fallout magic cards, so Mo is like the friggin' dark horse.
You literally filmed me getting it graded at WonderCon.
Well, but no, that was recent.
He told us he bought those on the show too.
Right, but no, I was there. Like it was like that happened like this month, right?
You're not listening.
Did it happen this month or not?
I guess.
Okay, thank you, you son of a bitch. What I'm saying to you is this.
Mom said that.
What I'm saying to you is this: is that I didn't realize like I was like the Fallout baby here. I didn't know that going in. Now I understand it and fully accept it. No problem. What I'm saying to you is this: is from my perspective as a person that's like not as deeply immersed in Fallout as everybody else here. Like I was watching the show and I was enjoying it because I've played enough Fallout that I'm like, oh, I understand the potential of what is probably going to happen here in regards to watching like episode like 1 and 2, you know? But let's say I hadn't played any Fallout. I could totally understand why somebody that hasn't played the game would be like, it seems weird. And it's not is the main issue in my mind is Lucy. Because Lucy is the main character. And she's good. I like Lucy. It's not like it has nothing to do with acting ability or well, it has to do with character development. Because I feel like the Lucy we get at the end of what at the end of episode 4 is in my mind, for somebody who hasn't played Fallout as much as everybody else here, is like that's the Lucy we should have got maybe at the end of episode 2 and definitely at the end of like episode 3. But we don't get that Lucy until the end of or until maybe the beginning of episode 4, maybe. And I'm like, the chick's seen enough. You know, like she's done enough, she's experienced enough. She's like she grew up in this like very sheltered, like literally, she grew up in a shelter. You know what I'm saying? Like she grew up in a vault, and like I'm not saying her worldview should change instantaneously. What I'm saying is the things that she was put through in the first 2 episodes, at the end of that episode, she probably should have like come out on the other end of those things, kind of feeling like what the world I knew should be different. Like the world I knew is different than what the reality is. And she doesn't get that until like maybe the first like quarter of episode 4. And that's weird to me, just because I'm just like, why is she out here like cutting off a head? Like, oh well, this is just what happens sometimes. You know? Which I don't remember what episode that happens in exactly. I feel like that's the end of episode 2. I could be wrong. I don't remember. But she treats it like it's just like, oh well, this is what happens sometimes. And it's like, no, like when you cut off a human head yourself, you should be different after that. And
but she's been like, even the way she handles sex, like she's been kind of numb to those things that we would have had in our time, because I just in a a scientific community.
I disagree with you only because, and this is, look, here's what I'm going to say, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, and I will accept it. But
I'll tell you why you're wrong, but go ahead.
Okay, cool. But I'll say this. In America, we equate sex and violence like they're the same thing.
Yeah, but this is a different type of...
They ain't in America.
Yeah.
They ain't in America no more.
No, and it stopped being...
No, I'm talking about our perspective. Like,
right.
Mo's like, well, the way she treats sex equates to why she would have an issue with cutting off a head. And it's like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, having sex with somebody that you're attracted to shouldn't ever come into the same conversation as cutting off the head of a human being.
Yeah, Larry. Yeah, Larry, let's remind the audience that you're the only one of us that doesn't beat off. So you don't know what sex is.
What? Well,
yeah,
beating off is not having sex.
No, but
beating off is masturbation.
It's being in charge of your own orgasm, your own fucking impulses.
Mo, are you trying to convince the audience that masturbation and sex are the same thing?
No, sex with the one you love.
Yeah.
You sons of
but what I'm gonna tell you is that
you all are broken.
Hold on, the way that you visualize America with sex and violence right now changed, because that mentality is diverged from that universe, in the sense that the people in charge now are like the fossil fuel people, and they're the religious right people, which is not what happened in the Fallout world. After listen. After the everything was powered through nuclear power, and it became more of a science-based society, whereas here we have more of like, yeah, we dropped those bombs, but we're still good people. We're not killers, No, and Fallout is a world like that. Like, you get that a lot in the games, the way people handle sex and mutilation and shit like that. It's very clinical.
I'm not saying you're wrong about the Fallout world. What I'm saying is, I'm talking specifically about our personal perceptions in the world that we actually live in.
Right, but you're talking about Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy
grew up in that world, and just to go with Mo's point, it's a scientific community where people are important when they're alive, but once they're dead, they're meat. That's both like seeing it scientifically, and somebody that grew up in a farm, like. this person, this animal is dead. It is now meat, and you get a little piece of that when they clean up the vault from the attack, and the bodies are like, well, they just go to the compost, like nothing. Like they don't even think twice about it.
No mourning, no anything. Yeah,
they don't hold funerals or nothing, and that's the world that she grew up in. So she was sad when she found out dude was gonna die. Like she mourned him, she cried. But once he's dead, she's got a mission to accomplish to save people. So he was right. I can't carry this whole body. All I need is the head. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, and I'll give you that. Like that makes sense to me what you're saying in the sense that a body is different than a person. I'm with you. What I'm saying is a body is different than a person isn't the same thing as I'm going to cut the head off myself. Because you're basically saying it like, oh, it's just the same as like cutting the head off a chicken. And it's not. Like people
it's
are
not
different than animals
once
in the vault.
Like that's it.
No,
you're saying it's not like cutting the head of a chicken, but it should be. Is I guess what I'm saying.
But it should be to who?
To everyone. Yeah, but it should be to her.
Not to her.
It's easier for it's easier for it to be like that for her than it is to us here. And it should.
Why? Why would that be the case?
Because
it's not like she knew the guy for more than a couple of days.
Listen, the chick hadn't seen a dead body until the Raiders came in. Like, it's not like she was like, oh, I was raised in this whole like thing of violence. That like the most violent thing she'd ever seen just happened to her.
I would argue she's seen a lot of dead bodies. She talked about the Great Plague that her dad helped them survive.
And supposedly
she wasn't there for that. That's a story.
Are you sure? Because
yeah, I'm 100% sure. The chick was a child. Like she wasn't there for that.
And then it played out the way it played out, and I guess that's the part you don't like about it, right?
It's not that I don't like it. I'm just saying, like, here's the thing. What I'm saying to you is this: is like. So there's an episode. Derek A says, Lawrence, no one is immune to that white girl booty. If you say so. What I'm saying to you is this: is the characterization that we got from her when she comes out of the I'm just gonna say in episode 4. Because I don't want to spoil anything for people that haven't seen it. Because it's a great show. I'm not knocking the show at large. It's just more so one of these things where, again, and this might be just me just as like not a person that's played it up for the games because maybe I don't understand.
Like even the dog's name was Dog Meat in the game. It's like because he's like gonna eat as soon as he gets soon as he walk anywhere.
Listen again, Dog Meat. Well, see, but listen, this is you. See, that's you putting your own personal thing there because you're like saying it like dogs are equal to people, and it's like that's.
But at the very least, equal to women.
See. God damn it! No, like
you set me up for that, Jerry. You set me
right here, right here. No, I didn't set you up for that. I was talking about people. No, but anyway, what I'm saying to you is like, yeah, like. There's like some people in that world make a distinction, other people don't, and hey, I get it. But what I'm saying to you is this: is like there's a point in episode 4 where she comes out, and it's like, oh, okay, like Lucy has finally understood, or has begun to understand. Maybe that's the better way to say it. Because I'm not mad at her being naive, especially considering how she was raised. What I'm saying is, how much do you need to see before you're like, oh, this world is different than where I grew up? And it's like, it took too long for her to understand that because she's not dumb. If she was dumb, it'd be different. Oh, she just don't get it. But she gets it. She's choosing to understand something different. And it's like that is one of those, like, it's a willful ignorance kind of thing where it's just like, oh, like as a person where you're looking at this, you're like, why does she act like this? Like she's out here like acting like everyone acts the way that they do where she's from, but she's seen enough to understand that the world she lives in or the world she's in right now is completely different from that. So why is she still acting this way? And that's what I'm saying, where I'm just like, oh, it's weird because she's smart enough to be like, damn, I might need to move different. And I don't know. She doesn't move different until episode 4, which is wild because it's like you cut off a dude's head yourself. Like, and don't get me wrong, he, oh, go ahead, Jay.
I don't 100% disagree with you, but I will say episode 4 actually changes her fundamental belief system. Like, her whole belief system basically just changed in that episode.
How so?
I thought we weren't doing spoilers.
Oh, I'm
just
sorry.
Do it. Fuck it.
Yeah, no. You don't have to spoil it.
No, do it, Jay. Do it, Jay.
You can.
Basically, she believes that the vaults are good. Like, they are the example of what should be. And in 4, she finds out that that's not the case.
Well, no, wait. That's the end of episode 4, though, right?
That's when she leaves the vault.
Just spoil it, Jay. Spoil it, because Larry doesn't know what episode he's talking about.
I do. I'm talking about the episode, like the episode where she tries, like the episode where, like Mo mentioned earlier that they tried to harvest organs. That's episode 4, right?
I don't know. I didn't keep a tally of what episode was what. I just watched.
I'm pretty sure that's episode 4, which doesn't have anything to do with an additional vault until maybe the end.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of 5.
Okay, so yeah, I think you're thinking about a different episode than what I'm talking about. I think at the end of episode 4 is where they encounter the other vault.
Yeah, but yeah. So when is?
But I would say so. What I would say is, until that other vault, she's basically in the back of her mind thinking that how she came up was the way to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's actually better. That, like, she believes she's better than all the people in the wasteland. And so she's still trying to hold on to her way, because not only is it her way, but it's actually the way things should be done. These wastelanders just don't know it because they've never been in the vault.
And that's a fair point. Like that I can understand where you're coming from, except from my perspective, I'm just like, but she's compromised her own values at that point to a degree where it's like, you believe that, but how can you be like, I'm better, but you're acting like the people out here?
Oh, like hypocrisy and self. Like,
right.
Those things are, especially like when you're indoctrinated, like she was, like, that's just a thing.
The whole
point.
Subplot is that this vault culture is hypocritical.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
Spoilers.
You're right.
Actually every game.
Right, I know. But Larry's figuring that out like right now when Jay tells him.
Hey, listen, Jay made a valid point. Unlike some people who
whatever, you still don't beat off with your
non-Cali.
So
don't be mad at me because I'm a knight.
So what else do we have to say about Fallout?
I was gonna call the number they put on the screen, if you will allow me.
Oh yeah, at one point in the show, Cooper, who becomes the ghoul, is doing a commercial for the vault, and they give a number that you can call to find out about getting into a vault for yourself, like informational number to call if you're interested in living in the vault.
And I'm gonna call him right now to see if I can secure my spot.
Call him, Mo. Call him.
You know, I don't know what I was expecting, but that was about right.
They hung up on me.
Is that what happens when you call the number?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just screaming. Because the vaults are actually really bad. Like, I know you watch the show, you've seen like how like you've seen two vaults and you've seen they're both like not great. Most of the vaults
are all bad.
are just people experimenting with people for no good reason.
Yeah,
and this does come up in the show, like when they're talking about how when they're trying to convince people to invest in the vaults, they do talk about like just doing random shit to people for random reasons.
Right.
And it's like a lot of the vaults, almost every vault, like is like that.
Yeah.
And
like initiative.
Yeah. Did any of you all play the actual like the phone game?
Fallout Shelter?
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
I did it for a little bit, but not a lot.
You play it, Oz?
Yeah, for a little bit.
Are there any Shelter references in the show?
No.
Or overt Shelter references? Because I understand, like, obviously it is like.
I mean, if anything, maybe the corn, like the cornfield, like just getting enough food and resources, you know, like that's about it. Because you do have to get resources to keep fed, you know.
Yeah, but
I know, like in that game, you do send people out into the wasteland.
Yeah.
But in that scene Jay was talking about, like that's one of those, a lot of Easter eggs in that. Like, well, for people that play,
which
like
scene?
the one where they're talking about how they're gonna do the vaults and the experiments, where they're trying to get the investor.
The war room.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Yeah.
Because like, it literally, like each one is like in charge of each game. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Well, the guy,
crazy.
The guy that looks like Walt Disney.
Yeah, like the guy, right?
That's Mr. House, who's in charge of New Vegas, which is where the where they show you that city
at the end.
See, right. And I've never played New Vegas, so I know that like New Vegas is like for a lot of people like the gold standard when it comes to Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
But I haven't played it personally, so I don't.
And Easy Pete's I just found out Easy Pete's a real guy. Like,
who's Easy Pete?
It's a guy you have to talk to in New Vegas. Like,
okay.
If it gives you the option to skip the tutorial. If you skip it, you still have to go back to talk to him in Prim on the way to Vegas. So, and there's a guy that actually like hangs out there named Easy Pete. Like, and
shut up, really?
And even like he loves the Fallout games and everything, and it's like, and he lives out there. Like, you can go see him in real life. So I wonder, like, if they're gonna actually use him when they show New Vegas next week. I just found that out because my apprentice Alex he's really into the Bethesda RPGs. So he's like,
I didn't know that.
Because the dude hangs out in like the Easy Pete guy hangs out at like the Bethesda boards and like Reddit and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. So look, we should rate this show. Which I don't did everybody like finish it?
I did.
Yeah, I did too.
And you did too, Oz?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, well, look, I feel like this might be a first where like 8 episodes, like, or maybe it's not a first, but it's rare for Fantastic Forum where because this joint released like last week and everybody on the show watched all the episodes. So
it was tough, but I did it.
Did it for the
now, why
booty?
was it when you say it was tough? You talk about like time management, or you talk about quality of the show?
Yeah, just the first few episodes just weren't hooking me. Like,
see, and that's I feel like if you're not a huge Bethesda fan, but Joe, I know you've played a lot of Bethesda games, so it's interesting because I feel like for somebody that's like here's the thing, I played enough Fallout where for me I'm like, okay, I know enough about this world that I know what could potentially be happening, but that's what it's the promise that kept me watching. Like saying, well, I won't say it's the promise.
But see, that's kind of why I'm gonna give it like a 2 because I did want her to have to start shooting iguanas like as she ventured out into the wasteland. Like there's no real like attacks or marauders aren't really doing their thing. And
all I'm saying is like the first 2 episodes don't necessarily sell you on the world if you don't already know about Fallout. In my mind, like I don't feel like the first 2 episodes necessarily do that. Now they're not terrible. It's just they might be kind of mid, which is crazy to say, just because from a production value standpoint, the show is really good.
I really wish this is how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. looked like when
but it's one of those things again where it's like it's not about necessarily like or this might be one of those situations where it's like the execution of it is what we're talking about more so than like the actual it's the storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not the execution because the execution is pretty top tier. It's the storytelling. The storytelling doesn't necessarily instantly hook you in the first couple episodes. And maybe that's, and I think that's what I'm trying to say. So I'm just like, that's wild. But anyway, so okay, so Jay, let's go back to you. If you're gonna rate Fallout as a series, what would you rate it?
I would give it a 3.5. Like,
okay,
the beginning wasn't that interesting, but when it gets interesting, it gets really interesting.
Right.
Like when you get to see Vault 32 and you see the state of it, and it's like, oh man, that's interesting. Like, and I feel like one of the most interesting things about Fallout the games is some of these fucked up vaults you end up finding.
Right.
And this was that episode 4 is where you get that.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, now we can go, and I hope they don't fucking do something stupid like set everything up and then have it answered in season 2, because that would have pissed me off.
Got it. Moses Magnum.
Yeah.
What would you rate Fallout as a series?
I would rate it at 4.5. Like I would have wanted to see more of the abominations, more of the monsters,
Mm-hmm.
And it honestly at that point it's like seeing the Gulper like was cool. Like they put a lot of work in that, and they utilize them too for like 2 different characters, 2 different storylines. it worked too, but they still gave me the Deathclaw skull at the end. So I would have liked to see the Deathclaw. But again, like in the timeline, like some of these creatures go extinct. They're
right.
Some of them pop up in games that don't pop up in others.
Right.
They come up different. So
right.
I understand it. So I'm not like mad at it, but that's a half a point.
Gotcha.
He hasn't leveled up enough to take on a Deathclaw.
Right.
But that's the thing. At least he could run away. Like
Oscore, what would you rate Fallout as a series?
I'm gonna go with 5 because even like little things that they set up that are kind of random, they come back to you at the end. Like when Goggins' character is filming that commercial,
right?
And then you see those people like, oh, that was an actual thing that was happening, and then it led to this,
right?
Like little setups like that I just did not expect to happen.
I agree with that.
I love that Walton Goggins is like Vault Boy with the
right. Right. That's crazy.
And for a fan of the game, like they answer a huge question on how the Great War started.
Yeah.
Or at least the nuclear part of it, because they were already at war.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's actually been a question for decades at this point. And knowing that the show is like they always knew there was a war, and like in 4, you just see the bombs dropping, but that none of the characters there know exactly what happened.
They were all preparing for it because of the threat. Because what it is, it's like basically like the 50 states get turned into like 13 commonwealths.
Right.
And then are fighting against each other, and then they do this weird, sinister plot to kind of like unify again. And under corporate rule. Yeah.
There was there's like hints in all the way back to New Vegas.
Yeah.
That's why Mr. House being in that meeting like makes sense, because he actually mentions that in the game. So like there was always like the theory based on a lot of clues, but like this is actually just flat out confirming, well, this is how it started.
Like even in the games when they get bombed, they're like, is it the Russians? Is it like they don't know who they're really fighting that's dropping bombs,
That's crazy. So okay, cool. Listen. Look, and again, this for me, I'm just like, this conversation alone has like elevated my score for the show, even though I thought it was a good show to begin with. Because again, I'm just like, I played enough Fallout where, and this is like, it's me kind of looking at the show from two minds, because it's like, what does it look like from somebody that's played some Fallout, and what does it look like from somebody that hasn't played any? And so, but the conversation has definitely put me in a place where I'm like, I give this joint a 4 out of 5, just because it's a good show. It's a slow burn though. Like I feel like anybody that, like, whether you played Fallout or not, the first like couple episodes you might be like, I don't know. But I think once you get to episode 3 and definitely into episode 4, you're like, okay, I'm on board. And then if you stay beyond episode 4, it pays off 100%.
The Easter eggs aren't even like that super like heavy-handed too. Like when Maximus like loses his battle with the raider, the Marauders.
Yeah.
And then he just like respawns, like and then goes back and then just grabs whatever weapon he can forage in the moment.
That's too funny.
That's literally that happened to me before in like Fallout 4. Like these guys, the fuck out. Oh, there I go. If you can still hear me, these guys beat the fuck out of me.
We can hear you.
Huh? You can or no?
We can hear you.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah, these dudes fuck me up, and then now I can't like, and then I literally like just kind of woke up again, and they're right there. I'm like, "Fuck you, bitch!" And I went back at them, and then got my shit back. Yeah,
there it is. It's poetic. Mo has died, and he'll be back. He'll be back.
Comic book
review.
Comic book
Like review.
Well, not like that, but like.
Shout out and props to Jay, because I was like, why are they doing comic book music? But it was comic book review, which is what we're doing next in regards to friggin' Tear Us Apart #1. So normally at this point I would go to Mo. Did Mo take himself out, or did we take him out?
I think he took himself out.
I think his camera's probably having issues.
Right, he's gonna mess up with his camera, and that's fair. Jay, do you feel comfortable talking about Tear Us Apart #1 and what it's about?
Yeah. So Tear Us Apart #1 is about two kids in a death cult where they're trained to fight. They're trained not to love. They're trained that compassion is weakness, love is a lie. Just all your typical death cult things. The strong survive. Their god is going to kill the world and kill all the weaklings that love and do stuff. And these two kids in this cult actually end up falling in love. And the girl at one point is just like, fuck this shit. Like, let's run. And they bug out, and the cult is after them, trying to get them back.
That sounds fair, Jay. That's what happens. And it's interesting because you said death cult, and you're not wrong. Even though in my mind I would have went with like assassination cult. But
I mean, assassins don't bring people to life. Like,
right, exactly. Right. It's like it's almost a distinction without a difference. You know what I mean?
Plus, all their lore talks about death. Like, all their doctrine speaks on death. Now,
it's one
they use them. They use these kids as assassins.
They use them as assassins, but they also sacrifice them. Right.
Yeah.
100%. And you are correct, not wrong. Oz, what was your take on this book?
What do you mean? What was my take on the?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you read issue 1?
Yeah, I read the first 2. There's 4. I don't know if is that the whole run or
no.
It's
ongoing technically.
Yeah.
I don't know. 4 is the first arc. They say that more will come, but
Joe's skeptical.
Well, I know our trade comes out next month, and that's all we know from that. Like, the trade is coming out, and they haven't announced when issue 5 is coming.
Right. So it's one of those things where it's like we're not sure when the next issue is coming out. So what do you think?
I mean, the concept is interesting. They give you very little about the world and more about the mythology, at least in the first and second episode, and then like slowly drip feed you more of the world. Like, when I was reading the first issue, I wasn't sure this wasn't like post-apocalyptic. But then the way the second issue opens, I realized, okay, well, there's probably a city because there's like a police force or something like that. But the kids are like, now I know, well, okay, they're isolated in this mountain surrounded by woods or whatever. And that's why I haven't seen other people.
Right.
So, Yeah, it's an interesting concept, and I do like the story.
Okay, that's fair. Moses Magnum, how do you feel? How do you
Yes.
feel about this? How do you feel
I
about?
enjoyed. I read only 2 issues so far.
Right.
And
Talk
I'm
to
in.
us about it. What do you think?
What say that? Say it again, Jay?
Oh, I said, God damn it!
Why?
Like, did no one read this fucking book? Like,
I mean,
hey man, we got other things we gotta do. Jay, forgive us.
we also like all 4 of us finished the series, and I think we all finished it today, right? Like,
Wait, are you talking about? Wait, you're talking about
Fallout, like to finish,
Fallout.
like we finished it like today, right?
I finished it today, yes.
I did
But
too.
you're talking.
I finished it Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Jay,
did you read it, Larry?
I've only read 2 out of what 4 issues.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Jay's like he's like, look, that's Jay F you Larry face. I've known that face since I was like 8. F you Larry face.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mo. Go ahead.
That's definitely what Jay says in his head. He doesn't say it out loud because he loves me enough not to say it out loud because he knows I'll cry.
Yeah, I read 2 issues. I enjoyed them so far. The first one wasn't enough for me to really get hooked, so I got the second one, and I was like, okay, I like this. I want to see. Like, I don't know, maybe it moved too fast or something, but it just I felt that there was something missing. Maybe it's that, I guess, like how I said, like that you have a perception of the world that you get from issue 1 that it changes when you get issue 2, and I think I needed that change to really like make it a little more interesting for me. And now I'm gonna read 3 eventually, and 4, and then 5 whenever that comes out.
You'll never redeem yourself in Jay's eyes, though.
It doesn't matter. Like Jay knows, I've never
It matters.
He knows I never sought out to be his role model. Yeah.
It's weird. I didn't have that issue you guys are having. Like,
what issue do we have?
Of like not knowing what the world was like.
Oh.
Like, I just assumed it was the normal world, but like a death cult in the mountains.
Listen, what I will say to you is I don't feel like it was an issue as much as it's like, dude, look, we ran out of time, Jay, so forgive us. We ran out of time. We didn't have enough time to read 4 issues.
No, I'm talking about
the issue 1, like reading issue 1, like you like to read, but you need something else than what they give you to really enjoy it better. Like we all had that issue, right? Is that what you're referring to, Jay?
Yeah, that you weren't sure what the like after reading issue 1, you weren't sure what the world was like. Like that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
yeah. Like I read issue 1 and I assumed that the world was normal. They just was a death cult in these mountains.
But the children were killing were assassins.
Yeah. It's like
I know when you read Deadly Class #1 and you read this #1, like you get a very different perspective of the world, you know?
I didn't read that.
Yeah, but those who have
read Deadly Class,
not #1.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
Like I didn't read Deadly Class, I don't think.
Oh, you would love that book.
Oh, okay.
Is Deadly Class is like done or no?
Yeah, it's done. I think they finished.
You would love that book. You should mess with that, Jay.
The series is done.
Remind me about it when I'm on Amazon next time.
I will do it. But yeah, I'm just saying it's one of the things where it's like, right, like, and listen, this is not an indictment on the book because the book is good. It's literally just about like how much time you have, And here's the thing too, is like, I know for myself, I was looking at it like, oh, okay, like, I feel like the first 2 issues came out like back to back in regards to monthly, and then there was like, because I feel like the first issue came out in like maybe like November of last year, and then the second one came out in like December, and then the third issue came out not in January, but maybe like February, and then the fourth issue came out like maybe the end of March or maybe the beginning of April. So it's kind of like it's on track. It's just an indie book.
Like I wasn't gonna read it at first.
Why not?
Because the trade doesn't come out, and like I would just rather wait for the trade.
And I debated because I got it with issue 1, and I read that back in November, and I was like, yeah, it might be one of those things where it's like, if we do it now, number 1 now, and then wait till the series is over, and then do the series again, and then
it's ongoing.
But the trade, the first arc, yeah. So. And look, if it's ongoing, they need to fix a schedule too, because fuck that. Like,
well, but they're not off that much. Like every other month.
They're off too much.
It's an indie book.
Not indie enough. It's Dark Horse. Like Dark Horse needs to secure its income. Like I've seen their stock portfolio. Like I know their worth. Like they need to secure what books are coming.
IDW.
What, dude? We're not having those issues at IDW right now. And we started a creator-owned section too. Like we're doing more creator-owned now since we didn't, we lost the Transformers and G.I. Joe license. So, we're not having these issues at IDW, right, Jay?
Right. But back to Tear Us Apart. I really enjoyed this book. Like I was gonna stop at 1. But I just kept going. Yeah.
How'd you?
I got a review copy.
Yeah.
So I almost feel bad because they're not going to get any money from me now.
Yeah, when the rest of the issues come out, you'll get it.
We'll see. But I love the art and the colors. The only thing is a couple of the action scenes, I got lost a little bit. But aside from that, I love the artwork. It's not abstract exactly, but it's definitely stylized. And the colors, like, the only thing I didn't like was the girl's power. Like, it really clashes.
Like the magenta-y thing?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but when you say the colors, like, that's the color.
No, but when they do hair and skin, and it's they
like,
work.
All the colors are muted, but they're colors.
And they create dimension. The way she used her power just feels like they put a highlighter over it.
But even so, I do like the art. I like it when she uses it. It's just with her eyes, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little off to me. But overall, I really enjoyed the art and the story and the writing. And, oh man, what happened to that one lady was messed up. But
we all agree with you, Jay. What happened to that one lady? Like R.I.P.
You didn't. No, that was my spoiler. I don't want to spoil it, but I do want you guys to feel bad.
Oz, what did you think
about the art?
Of the art or the book in general, either or.
I already said the book was an interesting story. Art wise, at first I was a little bit bugged because it's
Okay. By what?
monochrome, but it was like not black and white. It was like blue.
Right.
But then you get to a scene with a lot of blood, and that's when I see what they're doing, and it looks really
Right.
really good. And
Right.
now that I know what they were going for, yeah, the art was fine after that for me.
Got you.
Yeah, there's
colors are expensive.
No, but the style itself, like that style where it's like you use a lot of negative space and you use your shadows in like, I guess what it's called is expressionist, because it's like you'll use a blue, like in order to like convey cold in the snow, you use blue. If you're like in the wilderness, like the forest, you use green or yellow. You know,
Right.
that's a French technique. Like that's what like Druna and a lot of these old books from the French comics like did it. Even Casanova, an American comic, used that motif a lot. And then there's a dude that I follow that does it. Like he'll buy old novels and then in the blank pages draw what the chapter was about, and then he does that for Instagram. And he's a French watercolorist, so he only does like everything in blue, like not even the ink. He doesn't draw everything out sketched out first. Like he does it just blue. Like I gotta find that dude.
Yeah, no, like I would like to know who that is too.
Well, I'm gonna put it in our Discord, so you're never gonna find out.
Oh, sad.
I can't find any examples of the interior art, but this is the cover.
Yeah, it is the heart tear us apart. Well, but yeah, man. I mean, I will say that I found the book super interesting. Look, I guess it's a good time to mention the writer and the artist because we haven't done that yet, right? So Jensen does the art, and then how do you say the writer's name, Mo?
Jay Baruchel.
Right.
Is that the actor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
See, so you're familiar with that actor, Jay?
Yeah, he was in that Seth Rogen movie about the apocalypse.
This is the end.
This is the end.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in another movie, a thriller that was weird but decent. And he's the voice of Hiccup in How to Train Your Dragon.
Which Moses actually mentioned to me today.
Yeah. Like, and then he did a movie. He did a horror movie about living in an apartment building that was kind of crazy. I forget the name of it, but it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, what's it called again?
Yeah, I don't remember the title. I just remember the woman saved us cum.
Yeah.
As all good horror movies do.
Well, if I
and
knew,
I was like,
he apparently knew he could do comics.
What?
She knew he could do comics. You gotta save that seed. Yeah.
No, she was framing, or she wanted to kill someone, so she used his cum to make it look like a rape, murder.
That's what happened from time to time, right, Oz?
Well, there was a serial killer raping and murdering people, so she wanted to kill her the same way, so they think it was him, like the serial killer, and not her. But the serial killer saw her, and so, it's kind of just they all come together, and Jay Baruchel doesn't know that the guy is a killer, and so he ends up helping the killer girl by mistake.
What I'm hearing you say is I should have referenced Mo instead of Oz.
What?
I agree. You're right, Jay. Yeah, Mo.
Jay didn't Larry didn't use his mic today. He's using his headphones, so it's a little.
Oh, I'm using the mic. Am I not coming through good?
No, you're okay.
Oh, should I bring it closer?
No, the lav mic, the one that I gave you to put on your shirt.
Oh, you know what? You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I know, I'm right.
Damn it!
But what it is like the way you project, like you need it here, otherwise it cuts you off because your microphone's trying to adjust for your background noise or whatever. So
There's
that's
no background noise.
no, but just ambient, like it's processing. It processes through.
I'm angry that I forgot the last.
Like, even how you said like Fantastic Forum Assemble, like it cut you off at like fans, like because it wasn't ready for you to talk at the way you. That's why I gave you the lav mic, because that's on you. Like that's constantly going. Yeah.
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in myself.
I'm proud of my engineers here. Like, oh yeah, he's not using that thing today.
With that said, though, we should rate Tear Us Apart. So, Oz, why don't you tell us what you rate Tear Us Apart at this point?
I'm probably gonna go with 4. I mean, it's interesting and the art, like, it's good. I couldn't find anything wrong with it. It's not really my type of story. I probably won't keep reading it, but it's still an interesting concept, and I could see, other people enjoying it.
Hey, and that's more than fair. What? Just out of curiosity, what makes it not your type of story?
If just for some reason I don't really care about these 2 kids.
That's fair. That's more than fair. Jay, what would you rate Tear Us Apart?
5 feels right. Like, I went in not wanting to read it, and then I ended up binging the whole series. So,
listen, as soon as I was like children in an assassin cult, I was like, Jay's gonna eat this up.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Like, plus the writing is just really good.
Fair. Moses Magnum, what would you rate Tear Us Apart?
Yeah, so it's a 5. Like the whatever faults I felt number 1 had, like it made me read number 2 still. So it's
right.
like, and I do like the almost minimalistic style of art. Like
Right.
that uses a negative space for snow and forestry like that. Like I love that, and then the shading. So that's I love those styles in the French comics. I'm gonna love it here. And then Jay Baruchel, like again, like I like the stuff he does. Like he does mainstream stuff, and then he does weird shit on his own free time. That's really good. So it's like he's just. I've been watching him on sitcoms. I've been watching him in movies, and it's like, hey, do comics too. Like, fuck,
right.
Come on, brother.
Right. I will say I'm gonna give this joint a 4.5, just because it's like I feel like the book, like the story, is fantastic. I think that from an art perspective, every so often I was reading like the first couple issues, and I was a little bit confused by what was happening panel to panel, but not a lot. And also, it was just one of those things where I guess maybe I just had to like orient myself to like what they were doing action wise. But at the same time, it's kind of like I read a lot of comics, so if I look at your panel and I'm like, what's happening here? It's not because I'm inexperienced, so I'm just like, I've been reading comics a long time. So, I'm just like, oh, if I have to like take a second thought to be like, what's happening? That means somebody's not doing something right. So that's the only criticism. The art itself, I enjoy generally. The story, I think, is fantastic. Tear Us Apart is a book that I'm going to keep reading. So there it is. All right. Y'all ready to do some final thoughts? All right. I'll score.
I don't know what that was.
It's gone now, I guess. Okay. Final thoughts on.
Like, subscribe, good stuff coming.
Yeah. Jay, final thoughts.
So back when I was young, they had this video game series called Make My Video. And what it was they would have a group, like a band, and like 3 of their songs and different like video clips. And you could basically like chop them up and like remake the music videos. And one of the bands you could do that for was NXS. And Oz reminded me of NXS. I forgot they existed. He reminded me of them, and that reminded me of this video game series. And it was just like nostalgic. Like, by the way, don't ever play those. Those were awful. Like, god awful.
We all bought them already, Jay. You should have said that earlier in the final thought. Like, I bought it, Mo bought it, 3 or 4 members of our audience bought it. Sorry.
Oh, they're gonna have a bad time.
Well, listen, like, whose fault is that, Jay? Moses Magnum, final thought.
Just like, subscribe, hit the bell. I'm having a hard time finding that artist I was thinking of, but I'll figure it out. And yeah, man, keep us doing what we do.
Put it in the Discord, Mo.
Yeah, so you'll never see it there.
It's okay. It's not for me. It's for the audience. Speaking of which, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. We'll be back next week. Until then, let us know what you want us to talk about. What, if you don't like something, we'll hear that too. Like, the Discord is there. YouTube comments are there. Twitch comments are there. We'll read all those. So let us know what your thoughts are on Fantastic Forum. And until then, we'll be back next week. You have a good night.